Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Everything Seaplace. My name is Mike Renick. I am your host for this video. I just noticed something by looking at the camera. You can see that Ray and I are wearing the same shirt, so I'll give you an indication. But I'll be right back. We're going to continue our interview with Mr. Ray Strothman. Welcome back, everyone. Ray, glad to see you again.
Good to see you, Mike.
Even though this is the same setting we're at. But I want to focus now in terms of the challenges you see in your role of being treasurer. You know, we spend our assets here, our buildings are $125 million just for the structure, not counting the condos and stuff like that.
Right.
We spend $15 or so million worth of operation expense. So there's a lot of money that goes involved here.
Absolutely.
And it's the challenge, because we have to go to full funding under Florida statute in a year, is going to really change the accounting things that we do here.
Sure.
So I want to share something with you. You were someone we wanted to agree to be treasurer. We knew about your background.
Right.
Your friends tattled on you that are already
They
here.
did. They let you know. I mean.
And when they told me that you were willing to do that, I was really excited, because going forward, probably the treasurer's role is going to be one of the strongest roles at any association board going, because of everything going on.
Right.
So you've only been here for a little bit of time, and you've only been exposed to a few things. And by the way, I want to say, and I don't say things I don't mean, so I sincerely mean this from the heart, I'm impressed with your approach. The questions that you ask, some deficiencies that we knew existed, not in terms of not having controls and stuff like that, but certain questions about balance sheets and stuff. The one thing that I really like, and then I'm going to shut up, is the fact that you now bring the financials in front of the entire finance committee once a month. That was never done.
You would think so, wouldn't you? You would think finances would go in front of the finance committee.
That's a novel concept. I like that.
It's a real novel approach.
So, so you're making a lot of changes, but now I want to shut up and I want to hear your thoughts of what you see currently going forward. Just anything about this important role that you've agreed to take on.
Well, thank you, Mike. And at first, I certainly didn't seek this role. I was asked by
nobody does.
My partner, Bill, my former partner, Bill Carroll, who owns in M2 513. And, you know, we were down here first, of course, but they've been down here, and his brother's been down here. Mark Carroll has a place. So
know them both.
You know Mark? Yeah, he's a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Bill said there was a vacancy, and they wanted to know if I wanted to put my name up to run for the board. And Paul Goh called, you called, and I said, sure, why not? You know, because I'm transitioning, you know, from my position in my CPA firm. You know, we merged our CPA firm effective November 1st last year, and so I'm going to have a little more time to work on it. Plus, I always like a challenge. And I tell you, I knew it was going to be a challenge. And you know the big challenge? There's, what, 460 units?
461,
And guess how many opinions there are?
470.
Yeah, because some of the spouses don't agree, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
But so I see my role as I've always believed in transparency. I've always believed in communicating in a clear and concise manner. I believed in format is important. What you present to people is important. I know that different people analyze financial information differently. Some, you know, like to see the numbers. Some like to see charts and graphs and whatever. So I think what we need to do is try to present the information in such a way that all the owners know that the management and the board are really doing everything to all the owners' best interest. And, you know, that includes complying with the law. You know, we don't really have a choice on the reserve. You know, and I guess every year the vote comes up to where, you know, it's been voted down every year in terms of full funding, and it is going to make a difference. But the thing I see is it's really an investment in the future. It's pay me now or pay me later. You know, it's like, do you save money in a bank account to buy a car, or do you buy a car with debt? You know, and basically it's requiring that we basically prepay all of the renovation costs in the future, so that our units, all of our buildings, all of our units, all the properties will be fully maintained. You know, we'll have the right management, we'll have the right staff, and I think ultimately it'll be a good thing. I mean, it's going to be a hard transition because obviously, one of the main, I don't know, not a reason we moved here, but when we first moved here, the monthly or quarterly dues were relatively low compared to other units. And they have increased with the cost of insurance. The insurance is a big deal. And, but I know the board, I've learned more since I've been on the board than I ever knew. And I know the board is working hard to try to lower those insurance costs and trying to do whatever it takes to, maintain this property. We've been very fortunate, have not had a hurricane. We've had some storms, but no major damage, had a few landscape damage. That's about it, as far as I know.
No, that's correct. One of the big things, and I don't know of any other associations on the islands that could make this statement, but because of the strength of the board, so our insurance for Seaplace a few years ago went from $730,000 to $3.4 million. That was a huge shock. It wasn't expected. It wasn't the fault of the board. It was just the marketplace is what was going on. But since this board and the directors we have now came into play about 15, 16 months ago, we've taken the 3.4 down to 2.4, and we haven't cut any coverages. We haven't increased any deductibles. It was really digging under the covers, and Kurt Baker is the author of this and the chairman of the building committee and also secretary of the board, but he found out where a lot of the buildings, when you get into the nitty-gritty, were misclassified. So we opened up a case with citizens agreed, and so our rates were able to come down, and we're not stopping there. We've got some more things we're working on. That's the one nice thing about this board is we don't stop,
right?
Because costs are important. Now, the biggest thing is we have to get out in front of the owners because the quarterly fees are going to go up because, like you said, we have to have the money in the bank account before we buy something. No more like financing that new car. We have to pay cash.
Right, exactly. You have to save the money before you make the purchase. So the money's got to be in the account. But I mean, one thing the owners need to recognize is, they share in that ownership of those reserve accounts. And in fact, it's going to ultimately, it's going to balance out eventually. It's the short term, it's going to take time to catch up to the full funding. But once it catches up to the full funding, then things should normalize somewhat. It still will be somewhat more than it's been in the past. And I know some people, I think you've expressed to me that a lot of people have the philosophy they don't want to take it out of their bank account until they have to spend it for whatever purpose. But it's still in a protected account. It's regulated, by the law.
And there's no choice. This isn't something we've elected
no, it's
to
not. It's not a board decision.
It's Florida statute based on the problem that happened down in Miami a couple years ago.
Right.
So here's the challenge, as I see it, for you and I. We need to get in front of the owners this summer, and we need to what I call socialize the numbers. It's one big Excel workbook, which includes many spreadsheets. Every building, down to the minute detail, we've got items. So one of the things is, here's the next steps. We have to go back in front of the building committee and get all of the items on the inventory list, the pools, the roofs, the painting, the whatever, the railings. Make sure everyone's comfortable with the items. That's the building committee's challenge. Then we move back to your committee, the finance committee, with the numbers. Ultimately, the way I see it, the treasurer and your committee is in charge of the numbers. From that point, once we have agreement from building to finance, we come back to the board for approval at their level for the entire workbook, if you would.
Right.
Then we get Dave Cairns, who's the owner of the engineering company that we hired to do this, to sign off, and then we become official. Then, here's the thing. Our challenge is we have to get in front of the owners. And I had promised 2 town halls this summer. Summer's going by fast, so I've got to kind of kick this in the butt a little bit.
Right.
They need to understand the numbers. Stepping back a year ago with Nelson having some severe health challenges, he asked me as president to run the budget process. And we did that, but we did it wide open. Every meeting was open. All the owners' input was taken into account. All the questions were answered. So the budget that we're inheriting is an owner's budget. And I want this thing to be the same way. And you and I have talked about that in the past. I know you agree with that.
Sure, I do.
I like the fact that the owner who writes the check is the one that helped approve the numbers. And we just have to make sure we follow the guidelines and things are encompassed, included that have to be. And, in addition to that, though, we still have to maintain the lawns. We still have to, the big thing right now is We replaced Comcast with Hotwire, and there's a significant cost savings there.
I love Hotwire, by the way. I think it's great.
Mine is
It works
amazing.
perfect. I have better Wi-Fi coverage. I think the board, I'm not sure what committee or what person on the board or what committee did that, but I think that was a tremendous improvement to our services to the owners of Seaplace. Plus, I don't have a bill anymore. I mean, my bill's going away for Wi-Fi.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you never will have one again.
I know.
We had to roll that into the quarterly fees, but we get a year of free service.
So that's, I don't know, what were we paying? It was, 60, 80 bucks a month or something, I think, eventually. So,
Yeah.
80 bucks a month, that can go towards those increased
This is just one
dues and
of
assessments.
many things that the board has done here. That's why it's, I shouldn't make the following statement because once the word gets out that I'm enjoying this, I'll be in this for life. I do enjoy working with the members of the board.
Right.
Being on the board is a challenge itself, but I enjoy the members and the ideas. And,
Right.
and you look at the results up and down the island, and you know what I do for a living. I'm in and out of complexes
Sure.
every single day.
Yes.
And I don't see the results. In fact, I'll tell a story. We were showing a property over in Grand Bay, which is on the other side of the islands, on the bay side. And one of my agents and I were standing in the lobby waiting for the couple that were looking at the property. They went to the restroom, so we're standing there. And Brandon was over by one of the conference room doors, and they heard them saying, that's Mike is from Seaplace. That's the board that's really taken a proactive stance on terms of addressing costs, and we have. And,
Right.
and it's the members. Vinny Bouget did Hotwire. Kurt Baker, who's head of the building committee, helped drive insurance. We've got a lot of things going on and more things coming at us in terms
Right.
of as contracts renew. So I'm excited to have you on the board. We have a lot
Thank
of
you.
things.
I'm excited to be on the board, and I was at an event, and I told Paul Gold, I thanked him for, suggesting I put my name up, and he laughed. He thought I was kidding, because of all the responsibilities.
You are going to
and all the
regret that
work-
day that you
and all the
agreed.
work, but frankly, I like it. I like to be, occupied, and I like to help people, and I think I can perform a role here to help, Seaplace be the best condo association, and hopefully handle the finances in such a way that are very prudent, and and I've gotten to know Wendy better. I've gotten to know Hannah better. I've gotten to know you better, but
And you're still willing to do the treasurer's
I
role.
am.
like
I am.
that.
I like it. No, and I like you, and I like all the management. I mean, I think management's great. I think they're doing a great job. Nobody's perfect. I mean, there's certain, the biggest thing now is just so many moving pieces. How do you get it all done? So Wendy's kind of, in fact, we're looking to hire a bookkeeping firm to take some of the detail responsibilities away from Wendy so that she can be more strategic in her approach to managing Seaplace. But, we're just one step at a time, and there's a lot of moving pieces, like you said, and it's, but at the end of the day, it's a beautiful complex, a great place to either live or to, have a place for your family, and we still have a home in Louisville. We don't have any immediate plans to move down here full time, but if I win the lottery, I'll become a Florida resident immediately. But other than that, I don't think that's going to happen, frankly.
So when the lottery hits a big number, I'm over there every time. So
I usually wait till it gets to 500 billion.
the problem. So
500 million, not big.
You're a numbers guy, though. The opportunity. So here's what I like to joke. My odds of winning the lottery don't change if I buy a ticket or not change. I buy a ticket. That's how insurmountable these odds are. But I'm over there.
Their odds are insurmountable.
Yeah,
well, I figure what's $20 or whatever.
And that's how I look at it.
It's not that much money, and if you don't play, you can't win.
And someone's going to win, right?
Someone's got to win.
Ultimately win
somewhere, and so I wouldn't mind the publicity of winning. I can handle that.
Some of the big drawings up front, I've announced to the board members my resignation, or contingent on me winning the drawing on Friday.
Well, that wouldn't be good. We would not want you to resign. I'm sorry, you're locked in for the rest of your term. You can't quit. Sorry.
No. We've got a good board. We have a lot of work to do, and I want to thank you for volunteering, Ray. I'm looking forward.
I'm looking forward to working with you and the rest of the board, and I've been very impressed with all the board members, all the committees. Things like the events committee. I mean, you got people on the board that are just really gung ho about making Seaplace a great place, and with a lot of activities, and you know, it's a great place for them and their families. So
I appreciate everything. I want to thank you for being here.
Thank
This
you.
is the second video. Ray, thank you. Well, there'll be a lot more coming at us. But let me say this officially. Welcome aboard.
thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Take care, everyone. If you have any questions or comments, if I could be of any help, again, my name is Mike Renick. My direct cell is 941-400-8735. Until next time, thanks for watching.